Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture video. In the application layer, we are talking about the computer networks. In the web services, we're going to discuss in this lecture video. The topic name is web services. It comes under the application layer. We are seeing in the previous video about the application layer concepts used in the computer networks. Coming to that, continue to that, we have the web services concept in the application layer. See how the web services working in the computer networks for helping the sharing of resources from client to server. So before starting the web services, in this today's topic we're going to discuss about what is web services, what is service oriented architecture, what is a service, then overview of web services technologies, who makes web service standards, who web services architecture, then web services versioning. So we started with what is web services. It is a definition by W3C. We are giving here web services software system designed to support interoperable machine-to-machine interaction over a network. It has an interface described in a machine processable format. Other system interact with the web service in a manner prescribed by its description using SOP messages. So by typically converted to HTTP. For example, in the key elements, machine-to-machine interface over a network. So machine process interfaces, API that can be accessed over a network. Then communication over HTTP, even though a SOP. For example, in this picture, we have the web services client connected through the web services. The client will be connected to the services. In between the network, we have HTTP or other message based transport. So from the web services client can transport the message from communicate from client to web services with the machine processable interfaces. Here network will be play important role here. So followed with web services, what is service oriented architecture? It is a contrast to the traditional enterprise IT architecture. SO aims to consolidate common functionality. For example, here the network having the how traditional developers using the IT architecture, how the service oriented architecture using here. So in this contrast, these services are exposed to a network, so all the consumers can have the when required service offers to the network component that implements the business functionality. So services should be designed such that independence of each other as possible. So looking this picture, we can able to see the applications, infrastructure and network. So from the application to infrastructure, it will be vary for service oriented. So infrastructure will have the some single integrated infrastructure will be provided in the service oriented architecture. Compared to the traditional developer and previous IT architecture have separate infrastructure for separate applications. So integrated infrastructure for separate application will be provided in the service oriented architecture. So here what is service? In this service is nothing but is a group of it's a service is a group and encapsulated functionality. Example, account services that allows the transferring, detecting and other things. So how big we have services to be too big and too small, too many dependencies, so overall coupling between the clients and server is high. It becomes difficult to make changes to service without affecting the client. So too small is too many different services. Service architectures maybe become bright. So tiny web services we are having. So web services client, web services, big web services, we have tight coupling between services and clients. So web services client, web services 1 to 3 up to 5. So web services have a service client 1 to 4 up to 5. So in this tiny web services, service fragmentation we are using here. So this about the service is a group and encapsulated related functionality. Now coming to this web services technologies, it has the overview, method information, method and scope information, and the third one is the overview of web service technologies. In this first method information, method is action to perform in a web services. It action to be performed in web services applied compared to the previous methods. We having the method equal to action to perform in web services, no data. Example, get current time and date. So Scope information. Scope information defines the data context to which a request method is applied here. So REST style web services, hybrid RBC style and REST style combined. So who makes web services standards? W3C and OSS and companies. They are the important provided. They are maintaining the standards in the web services. So web service architecture, we having the web intermediates and authenticate service. In service consumer, intermediate service provider. So service consumer and intermediate service provider. So these about the security tokens. CWS, WS trust. We are having the authentication, authorized and accounting. Authorization and accounting. We have these kind of process we are using in the web services architecture and authentication services. Now coming to this, we have the management services and service consumery, auditing services and the management services. So this is about the web services architecture and web services concept used in the computer networks. Thanks for watching. Thank you all.